So, for example, there are banks in America that will do non-recourse loans on an investment property that your IRA can buy, but instead of being 80% LTV or 75% LTV, they might drop it down to 50%.
You're listening to 5 Hour Real Estate Week, where you'll learn to consistently buy real estate in only 5 hours a week. So if you're ready to invest in real estate, achieve financial freedom, and own the lifestyle you deserve, even with your job, this is the show for you. Now, here's your host, Mike Butler.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the 5 Hour Real Estate Week. And I'm Mike Butler, your host. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the difference between UBTI versus UBIT. And you may have heard this. And what frustrates me big time about this is that there's a lot of folks that have just enough knowledge to be dangerous, and they don't have a clear understanding of what they're talking about. Yeah, they might be in the same department, they might be in the same city or whatever, the same arena, but they really don't have a clear understanding of what it is. Now, UBTI versus UBIT, this involves your self-directed Roth IRAs, your self-directed health savings account, and your CISA or education accounts for your kids and grandkids. Now, these are powerful, powerful investment vehicles because it's tax-free profit and income for life. Now, I'm not going to get into the details and the benefits of each one of those type of investments, but I will recommend a custodian that I use. And the owner of this company, Carl Fisher, I've known him for 15 years. I've learned more from this fella than I have. In one Saturday workshop, I learned more from Carl Fisher than I had maybe the last 7-8 years of investment training that I've had. And so Cama Plan is his company, and it's CAMAplan.com. And the name they came up with, Cama, is Carl and his sister, Margaret or Margie. They created this company because they got tired of paying income taxes on their real estate investments. So it's CAMAplan.com. Go there, sign up, get an account, fund it, and you're off to the races. Everybody should have one. You, your spouse, your kids, your grandkids, your parents, your brothers and sisters, everybody should have one of these, because do you think income taxes are going to go up? I do. It's already happening. Just turn on the news. So now, when we talk about these self-directed Roth IRA, health savings account, education accounts, you can take your knowledge that you have between your ears about investing in real estate, and you can take that knowledge and expertise, and your self-directed Roth IRA can go out and buy real estate. You can go out and buy rental properties. You can loan money to other investors. Okay, there's a lot of things that you can do. And I think it's IRS Publication 590. It's a guide. It's not the law, but it's a guide that'll tell you what you can and cannot invest in. I'm not going to make this an IRA course, but what I want to get to is UBTI and UBIT. Well, first of all, these accounts cannot sign a promissory note. They cannot promise to pay anybody anything. That's rule number one. So what does that mean? In the real world, that means non-recourse debt. So what's non-recourse mean? Well, the only security that the lender gets would be, let's say, the real estate. So they could put a mortgage on the property, but they can't force your IRA to sign a promissory note, say, I promise to pay Ralph or promise to pay this bank this money. That's non-recourse debt. Now, you might say, well, Mike, nobody's going to do that. Well, no, that's not true. Okay. You just haven't, that's outside your comfort zone right now. So, for example, there are banks in America that will do non-recourse loans on an investment property that your IRA can buy, but instead of being 80% LTV or 75% LTV, they might drop it down to 50%. Okay. So that's one. The other one is, think about opportunities on any seller finance deals. So if you get a seller that agrees to seller finance you this property, so you're going to get them to seller finance you on this property, well, then what you can do is have them just have a mortgage on the property or have a lien on the real estate, but not force your IRA or health savings account or education account to sign a promissory note. All right. So that brings us to what this topic is all about. Now we get into UBTI and UBIT. So what does that mean? So if your IRA borrows, basically uses other money, uses somebody else's money, a lender, private person, seller, what have you, in order to buy this investment, well, you have to figure up. So what that means is you're going to be making profit using money that's been borrowed because your IRA didn't have enough money or didn't want to pay cash for it. So here's what your CPA does for you. I don't know how to figure this up. I just want to help you understand what these two are. So when somebody talks about it, you have a better understanding. So if we use some kind of other money to buy this investment property, well, then your CPA at tax time is going to figure out what's called an unrelated business taxable income. So there's some kind of ratio or formula they use with the IRS that says, okay, well, if you made $1,000 profit, well, then so much of this was, you got this profit by using this borrowed money over here, somebody else's money. And so he'll figure up, or she'll figure out what the unrelated business taxable income is. So you made this much is subject to UBTI, the unrelated business taxable income. And of that, then whatever that number is, then you have to pay the unrelated business income tax. So I hear so many knuckleheads out there that know just enough to be dangerous. They interchange those two, and they really don't know that there's two different things. And they think they know what they talk about. You know why? Because I did that. So it's UBTI versus UBIT. So unrelated taxable income. Your CPA is going to figure out, okay, you bought a $200,000 investment. You use $150,000 of somebody else's non-recourse money to buy that investment. And so they'll figure out the ratios, percentages, and they'll come up with, of the profit you made, how much of that is subject to the unrelated taxable income. They'll come up with that number. And then when that number is determined, then they will say, now you owe so many dollars in unrelated business income tax. I don't know the formulas or anything like that. I just want you to know that the difference between the two and what it's about. So that wraps up this one. Get yourself a self-directed Roth IRA. Open it up right now, today, yesterday at camaplan.com. Get one for your spouse, your kids, your grandkids, family members, everybody you love, okay? So adios, see you on the next one.
Glad you joined us for another episode of 5-Hour Real Estate Week. The best thing you can do now is put this information to action. To help you get started, Mike created a free resource for you called How to Buy 50 Houses a Year, Even with Your Job. Download it now by going to mikebutler.com/50 houses. And we'll see you on the next episode.